In this video, we're going to be looking at some places where you're going to see real life examples of systems of equations. So all we're going to focus on in this video is getting the system set up. We're not necessarily going to solve it yet. We're just going to work on writing the equations based on the information that they give us within the problem. So, first example says, you are running a concession stand at a basketball game. You're selling hot dogs and sodas. Each hot dog costs $1.50 and each soda costs 50 cents. At the end of the night, you made a total of $78.50. You sold a total of 87 hot dogs and sodas combined. How many of each did you sell? So, first thing we need to remember is that anytime you have a system of equations, you have at least two equations. Okay, this year all we're going to be focusing on is having a system that's two equations, but later on down the road, you may see three equations pop up or more. So the first thing, you got to look at what you're talking about. We're dealing with selling hot dogs and sodas. Now, what I usually like to do to help it make more sense to me is instead of using x's and y's in my equations, I like to use variables that will make sense. So if I'm talking about hot dogs and sodas, I think I'm going to use an h for hot dogs and an s for sodas, just so I can kind of keep them straight. So our first equation, the first piece of information they give us is the cost of each of them. Each hot dog is $1.50, each soda is 50 cents. And at the end of the night, you made a total of $78.50. So my first equation has to have the dollar amounts factored into it. So if each hot dog costs $1.50, that means I would take $1.50 times the number of hot dogs that I sell. So 150 each. Then I'm going to add what the soda costs. Well, the sodas cost 50 cents per soda. So you would have to take, to get your total, $1.50 times however many hot dogs you sold, and then 50 cents times however many sodas you sold, add them together, and that will give you your total. So here's one equation, okay? But remember, to have a system, we have to have at least two. So they give us another piece of information, and that is that you sold a total of 87 hot dogs and sodas combined. In other words, you sold 87 items. Now, we don't know how many hot dogs, we don't know how many sodas. That's the goal of the entire problem. But what we can do, what we know, is that the number of hot dogs that you sold plus the number of sodas that you sold has to equal 87, because you sold a total of 87 items. And like I said before, we're not going to worry about figuring this out right now. All I want to focus on is getting the system set up. So we have two equations. Here is our system for this problem. Okay, moving on to the next one. It says you and a friend go to Taco Bell for lunch. You order 3 soft tacos and 3 burritos, and your bill totals $11.25. Your friend's bill is $10 for 4 soft tacos and 2 burritos. How much do soft tacos cost and how much do burritos cost? So keep in mind, we need two equations here, okay? One equation is going to be your bill. The other one is going to be your friend's bill, okay? So for you, it says you order 3 soft tacos and 3 burritos, and your total was $11.25. So you know that your total has to be $11.25. Okay, and again, I'm not going to use X and Y because it doesn't make sense in this problem. I'm going to use an S for soft taco and a B for burrito. So you order 3 soft tacos, so that would be 3S. You also order 3 burritos, so that would be 3B. You add those together, and that would give you your total. Okay, keep in mind the S is going to represent how much the soft tacos are. The B is going to represent how much the burritos are. Okay, and then for your friend. So your friend's bill is $10. So we know that his has to equal $10. Your friend got 4 soft tacos and 2 burritos. So 4 soft tacos, 2 burritos, and again, to get the total, you would have to add them together. So here's your system right here. For you, it was 3S plus 3B equals 11.25. For your friend, 4S plus 2B equals 10. Okay, moving on to the next one. Okay, it says the admission fee at a small fair is $1.50 for children and $4 for adults. On a certain day, 2,200 people enter the fair and $5,050 is collected. How many children and how many adults attended? Okay, so again, we need 2 equations here. First piece of information they give us is how much it costs. It's $1.50 for children, and I'm going to use a C for children. $4 for adults, and I'm going to use an A for adults. Now, which number is that going to have to total up to? Well, since we're talking about the prices and how much the admission fee is, our total for this first equation is going to have to be the amount that was collected, $5,050. So, our first equation, it's $1.50 for each child, $4 for each adult. We would have to add those together to get the total amount that was collected. Okay, then the only other piece of information they gave us was how many people entered the fair. There were 2,200 people enter the fair total. Now, some were adults, some were kids, we don't know. That's the whole goal of the problem. So all we can put for this one is children plus adults would have to equal 2,200. And there's our system. Okay, we're going to look at one more. Okay, it says April sold 75 tickets to a school play and collected a total of $495. If the adult tickets cost $8 each and child tickets cost $5 each, how many of each type did she sell? So this example is very similar to the one we just did with the admission fee into the fair. So I want you to pause the video for a second and see if you can get the 2 equations written down, and then you can play it again and I will go through it and you can check yourself to see if you have the right equations. Okay, so as we work through this, April sold 75 tickets and collected $495. Okay, the adult tickets are $8 each, so that's going to be 8A. Child tickets are $5 each, so 5C. We add those together, and since the 8 and the 5 were dollar amounts, this equation has to equal the total amount that was collected by April, so that was the $495. The other part of this, the only other piece of information they gave us was that she sold 75 tickets. Okay, we don't know anything else except that it has to equal 75. But we do know the number of adult tickets plus the number of child tickets would have to equal 75. So here's your system. Now, if you had these equations switched around, let's say you had the A plus C equals 75 listed first, that's fine. It doesn't matter. As long as your two equations are exactly like mine, then you'll be good to go.